Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the opening round of the Racing for Children's IndyCar Series. Fun, competitive racing for charity. Looking forward to a fantastic season opener here at the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. We're racing for a good cause. The Racing for Children's IndyCar Series is not just an iRacing league, also racing to help raise awareness and funding to cure childhood cancer and blood disorder. So a great cause for all the drivers out on track. As always, I'm your host, James East, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, and looking forward to another great night. For a lot of drivers I've had the pleasure of calling their races in the past, and looking forward to seeing what they can do out here in the Indy cars for the first time. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on, as we get things ready to rock and roll. Big shout out to our sponsors. Martial Arts coming on board. Nemesis Labs also coming on as a supporting sponsor. Some great groups trying to help out, raise a little bit of money and awareness when they can. Martial Arts providing all of the graphics for the Racing for Children's IndyCar Series. Thank you, Marshall Newton, for coming on board. Also have Propane Depot with John Kasai coming on as a sponsor, supporting the great cause. And MSR, also a major part of tonight. Looks like we have 20 drivers out on track. 18 have qualified so far. As let's get ready to run it through the grid to start off this season. We wait for all the drivers to make their way out onto pit road. Starting on pole, Jared Ziegler, the number 57. Paul Gibson starting second. Finley Fitzsimmons starts third. Kyle Leap starting fourth. Tyler Duggan starts fifth. Looks like it's going to be Cameron Bidwell starting sixth. Colin Weatherholt starts seventh. Blake McClung starting eighth out on the grid. We've got Antonio Bianchi starting ninth. Norman King starting 10th. Caleb Nelson starts 11th. Peter Rettinger starting 12th. Cycling it back, we've got Chris Shieldsmith starting 13th. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, starts 14th. Marshall Newton starting 15th. John Kasai starts 16th. Brian Edwards starting 17th. William Swinson starting 18th. We got Brian Robinson joining us starting 19th. And then Brian Ziegler will round out the 20-car grid here tonight. Starting things off strong here at Texas as we get ready to send them out for another great race. 180 laps on the schedule. Expecting about 45 to 50 laps on the fuel run. Looks like we're waiting on Caleb Nelson, the 07 machine, as well as Gareth McAllister to make their way out onto the grid. We've got world-famous race control Joseph Penn up in his separate booth. He'll be calling his action, making sure all the drivers are well-behaved, or as well as they can be behaved when it comes to a racing environment. And it looks like everybody's out on the grid. Drivers will be getting a few more notes from race control and league admins alike, and then we're going to get rocking and rolling here. Now, as we're waiting for these drivers to roll out, if you would like to support the league sponsors or donate to charity, please check out the descriptions and the links. Excuse me, the links in the description below. Got a little bit tongue twisted there. On a long night, if that's gonna be the case. You can support those that are supporting the series. You can also join the series yourself if you're watching for the first time and want to get in on the action. As it looks like our iRacing safety car about to roll out of pit road, getting queued up, ready to rock. And it's going to be Jared Ziegler, Paul Gibson, the front row, Finley Fitzsimmons, Kyle Leap, your second row, Tyler Duggan, and Cameron Bidwell, your third row. And it will be a rolling start here in this series that's going to take drivers onto oval courses and road courses alike. You drivers trying to get a little bit of heat in these tires. Good to see such a healthy grid for a season opener. 20 cars making their way out tonight. A lot of these drivers run multiple leagues with each other, and we get ready for the lights to come on to signify the start of the opening round of the Racing for Children's IndyCar League. And away we go. As already they've binned it. Not the start we were looking for. An early caution, Caleb Nelson, Colin Weatherholt, both involved in that one. Let's take a look, see what happened. Oh, somebody tagged the grass and around they go. That was Caleb Nelson drilling the outside, the inside wall. And let's look at that once more from Colin's point of view. He takes a massive hit. And the number 12 machine. Nowhere to go there, and already drivers having to use that first fast repair. As that is not the start we were looking for here with our first caution. But we'll try and get an update from race control. Cameron Bidwell has problems. Takes a tow. Ah, that's why. Very tough to make your way around on three wheels. He's trying to limp it down pit road. Not quite able to. These drivers have a fast repair, one get out of jail free card that they can use. But for about 4 different drivers, it's going to be Tyler Duggan, Cameron Bidwell, Blake McClung, Colin Weatherholt. We've also got Caleb Nelson coming down pit road. That means they've got 177 more laps to go that they have to keep that machine safe. As we rock and roll under eye-pacing conditions, still a long way to go for these drivers. Looks like there's going to be about 16 still on the lead lap. Let's make it 17 drivers on the lead lap. Cameron Bidwell, Blake McClung, Colin Weatherholt, and pit road for extended stays, it looks like. Now I'm curious to see, will restarts be single file here for the Indy cars? Or are we going to go back to double file? I think it may be single file for this series. Not quite sure on that one. Peter Rettinger, the number 44 machine, also comes down pit road after a very, very rough start for a whole lot of drivers. So I think the safety car will be coming in this time by. And we'll have another attempt at it. Looks like Cameron Bidwell was able to get back out on track. Blake McClung, Colin Weatherholt still in pit road. Now, with this being the first race of the season, drivers still feeling out the cars, feeling out each other, trying to learn the limits. And these Indy cars are not forgiving if you make any sort of mistakes. And it looks like Bidwell and McClung got back out on track. Weatherholt has not yet returned to the surface as the safety car comes down pit road. I think drivers are a little confused if this is a double file restart or not. And away we go. Trying it once more. Ziegler out front, Fitzsimmons in tow. I think the field a little bit more likely to try and give each other some room here. As I say that, we've got problems somewhere else out on track. Was that Norman King going for a wild ride? It almost looked like it was as Brian Edwards drifts up in front of him in the number 2 machine. Fitzsimmons has taken over the race lead from Ziegler. Ziegler tries to fire back. Here we go, the opening round of the season. Ziegler, Fitzsimmons battling back and forth. Two competitors who have had plenty of wheel-to-wheel experience next to each other right behind them. Gibson and Leap going at it in the battle for third. But we've got problems elsewhere. It looks like Peter Rettinger may have, I think he almost, I want to say he went through pit road there. It shows him triggering our lights. What a save from Rettinger. Number 44 machine able to hold on to it as we go back up front to Ziegler. Jared Ziegler, Finley Fitzsimmons going at it. These cars are quite a handful for these drivers, and Paul Gibson, Kyle Leap staying right there with the pack. Antonio Bianchi rounds out the top 5, trying to work his way up towards the front. I think that was Rettinger we just saw smoking coming down pit road. Now keep an eye out on Paul Gibson. He was very, very fast in practice. As we go on board the number 31 machine, you can see the battle of Fitzsimmons and Ziegler just ahead. Ziegler looking for a way around the flying Brit, the number 6 machine. As Gibson modulates that throttle, trying to hold on to it the best of his ability. Now in these Indy cars, dirty air quite an important factor for these drivers. And they were reporting in practice the aero wash was very tough to get used to, as here comes Ziegler trying to work the outside line once more against Fitzsimmons. Both drivers trying to give each other as much space as they are comfortable with. Ziegler tries to take the long way around in the number 57. Fitzsimmons still down the inside line, not trying to yield, but as these two go side by side, that's allowing Paul Gibson to close the gap back in third. Peter Rettinger, Brian Ziegler returning out of pit road to get back onto the racing surface. And my, oh my, what about the two wide action? Fitzsimmons still holding on to it, but it's been less than a tenth for the last 3 or 4 laps. Ziegler doing a fantastic job trying to work the outside line, just not quite able to get that momentum he needs. And look at this, Paul Gibson has closed the gap back into third. There'll be a little bit of traffic ahead of your race leaders as Ziegler tries to stay in the draft of Fitzsimmons. As it looks like Fitzsimmons holds on to it, pulling a little bit of a time. He had just about over a tenth over Ziegler. Ziegler's going to fire back once more, crossing the start-finish line. Not quite side by side with Fitzsimmons. There we go. Ziegler trying to carry as much momentum as he can, but Fitzsimmons wedging that car on the inside. Not willing to yield an inch to the 57 machine. Fitzsimmons up 2 positions, Ziegler down 1 from where they originally qualified. And still side by side, these guys are putting on a massive show. Will Ziegler be able to make a move on the outside line, or is he hoping Fitzsimmons maybe burns up a little bit more tires here? Now with this being the opening race of the season, we don't have much statistics to fall back on that may paint a picture of what's going to be expected, but if this is how the season's going to start, with your race leaders really going at it, elbows out in these open wheel machines, I think we're in for a good showing. We got problems elsewhere on track. Blake McClung had an off-track excursion. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Oh, and we're going to have a caution come out. And I think McClung may not have saved it as much as I thought in the number 17 machine. Same move we saw from Rettinger. I think McClung just takes a toe there. That's enough to bring out the caution from the built-in iRacing system. So that will be our second caution of the night. And may give Fitzsimmons, Ziegler a bit of a chance to catch their breath. The two front runners, first and second, have not given each other much of a break, if at all, here. So it looks like everybody except for Gibson, Leap, McAllister, and Shieldsmith come down pit road. And that's going to put Fitzsimmons and Ziegler starting mid-pack, about the 6th place position. as it's going to be Gibson, Leap, McAllister, Shieldsmith, and Kasai who opt to stay out. Is this going to be a wise move from Fitzsimmons and Ziegler to put themselves further back into the meat grinder? We've got Craig Lowen join us in the spectator area. Tune in, supporting the broadcast. Possibly even his fellow Australian, Gareth McAllister, who's out on track. We've got Eddie Cross joining us as well. We're under our second caution of the night, 20 laps in. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like our race control ticker is working tonight. Not quite sure what I've broken on that end of the broadcast. We get ready. The iRacing safety car lights are off. And we get ready to go at it once more. Now, we did get a report from race control. The lap 1 caution was given to the number 42 machine. The lap 14 caution was given to the number 17. And we're going to go green flag once more, but let's pan back to Fitzsimmons, who's going to have to cut through the field here, as well as Jared Ziegler. This is the often talked about vortex of danger for these drivers. Oh, and we've got somebody lost the wheel. Looks like that was Antonio Bianchi. Must have tagged the outside wall as the cars turn into explodey bits. Marshall Newman also tagged up in that one, as well as Tyler Duggan. Ryan Ziegler may also be collected. Let's watch that one once more, focusing the camera on Antonio Bianchi. Trying to see where he may have tagged the wall at here. say maybe it was aero wash out of that 51 machine. Because when it went bad very, very quickly. Again, you're focusing on the blue and yellow 51 of Bianchi. Yeah, just pushed up the wall. The field tries to scatter around. And when you're hitting speeds in excess of 220 miles an hour, not a lot of room for errors here. Again, that was Antonio Bianchi, Marshall Newton, Tyler Duggan, Brian Ziegler, all tied up in that one. As we quickly go back under caution. Race control with Joseph Penn having a workout here tonight. And as we are under pacing conditions, check out the description and the links below. Support the league, support the broadcasters, and most importantly, support charity. What happened to Marshall Newton as he's got a wheel that's fallen off? Was it already off? Yes, it was. He was tricycling around, porpoising as they call it in Formula One, and the car just had enough. Says, sorry, Marshall, you're not going to be able to limp it home on this one. As it's still going to be Paul Gibson out front, Kyle Leap starting second, Finley Fitzsimmons, Jared Ziegler starting third and fourth. Brian Edwards has worked his way up into fifth. Now we had a pretty solid green flag run going with Fitzsimmons and Ziegler side by side for about 5 to 8 laps. Hopefully we'll get to see that opportunity once more as we whittled it down to 13 drivers on the lead lap. Here we go once more. Paul Gibson holding on. Oh, he's in second now. Kyle Leap takes it over, and we hint at some three-wide action with Gibson, Leap, and Fitzsimmons. Ziegler watching from behind in fourth place, possibly a safer spot to be in. As Gibson leads the field with Leap, Fitzsimmons, and Ziegler hot in pursuit here. Fitzsimmons takes a peek the inside line, but we've already got a crash out on track. It shows is Brian Robinson in the 37 machine. He's off the race surface, so hopefully a caution doesn't come out. Unfortunately, it will do so. A quick early caution. Oh, it looked like a little bit of net code. Just collected Robinson, the 37. And a quick fourth caution. And further back, Caleb Nelson showing involved in an incident, not quite sure how. Oh, there was contact under caution. Poor Nelson just can't catch a break. Having to take a tow back to pit road. I wonder if he already used his fast repair. So the field's gonna start dwindling here. The top four, top five, though, put on a show. Gibson, Leap, Fitzsimmons, and Ziegler have been dicing it out here at Texas. But these guys are gonna have a long way to go if we keep wearing out some race cars. We're gonna run a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Oh, there we go. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Racing for Children's IndyCar Series. And just like that, I told you it's going to be a quick commercial break. We are back as we are under caution for the fourth time this evening. And here we go once more. Well, looks like Kyle Leap has a whole lot of pressure from behind with Fitzsimmons. Jared Ziegler joins the fray, as well as Brian Edwards just inside the top 5. This gives Gibson a little bit of a breakaway up front. That clean air extremely important. As it looks like the top 5 relatively busy here. It's Gibson, Leap, Fitzsimmons, Ziegler, Edwards. Currently your top 5. Edwards has about a 6/10 gap over 6th place Gareth McAllister. And Gibson trying to stretch his legs here. Now Gibson and Leap running 1st and 2nd have yet to come down pit road so far tonight. And very impressed. I mean, when these guys get rocking and rolling, they're doing a great job. Brian Edwards. Oh, I say that, and we've got the 5th caution of the night. Peter Rettinger involved in a solo car incident, I think. Let's see what happened to the Austrian driver. Just pushes up out of 4, collects the wall, loses the front right. It's almost identical move we saw from him earlier. Doing a great job, though. Well done, having the forethought to lock up the brakes to avoid coming out in traffic, backing up that number 44 machine. And thankfully, no drivers besides Rettinger involved in that. We still have 10 drivers on the lead lap. And we will quickly put it into pacing conditions. Peter Rettinger has taken a tow back to pit road. Most likely done and out of this one. Now, I do remain optimistic. I think the longer this show goes on, the longer the season goes on, things will get better and better for these drivers. Always takes a little bit of time to get the bugs worked out. It looks like we've got the race control notes figured out. As I believe that'll be Rettinger getting the penalty there, but I have a sneaking suspicion we may not see the number 44 machine get back out on track. Now we've had two drivers have to retire early on. Brian Ziegler, Blake McClung, both out and done for the evening back in the virtual hauler. Rettinger's been in his pit stall for just about 5 minutes. Caleb Nelson for about 12 minutes now, trying to get repairs done on that machine. The number 44 machine will receive the EOL. That was Rettinger, no contact with other cars, so he'll get that EOL, but he's in pit road, so I think the penalty was a bit of formality here as we get going. Green flag racing once more. Gibson out front. Leap second. You've got Fitzsimmons and Ziegler linked up for third and fourth, but don't forget about Brian Edwards, who's going to be coming down pit road, I think. Maybe serving a drive-through. As we go back up front, Leap and Fitzsimmons have rapidly closed up to your race leader, Paul Gibson. And it looks like Ziegler and... a little confused. 5 drivers up here in the mix. Finley, Fitzsimmons, Jared Ziegler going at it. Going 3 drivers in front, though. I'm a bit confused by that. There's Gibson. There's Leap. We've got one driver midway through here. It's a lap down. Maybe trying to get a lap back. I wonder, that's not Antonio Bianchi, I don't think. Trying to see who that is tucked in behind the number 20 of Kyle Leap. I will say one negative part about these Indy cars, besides being tough to hold on to, pretty darn difficult to see what numbers are on these machines. That looks like it may be Colin Weatherhold's number 12. And that's going to give Gibson and Leap a bit of a breakaway. Fitzsimmons in third, 6 miles, got about a half-second back. Jared Ziegler staying linked up with him. Gareth McAllister, the Australian, the number 25 machine, trying to close the gap. And a very easy to spot 25 as well, I may say. Now, Fitzsimmons and Ziegler, when they both had clean air on the front of those machines, had some great side-by-side racing. It's going to be interesting to see if maybe we see the same out of Gibson and Leap running up front 1 and 2. We've only got 9 drivers on the lead lap here. Ryan Robinson had a crash, takes a tow before the caution comes out. Let's see what happened to Robinson. Oh, just loses it, drills the inside wall. All the fun explodey bits pop off the car, but again, he takes a tow before the caution comes out. A little bit further back, it looks like John Kasai making a move on William Swinson. And no, too little, I said that. Both drivers getting collected. Let's see what happened. It was right as we pan to it. Let's see who maybe caused this one. It looks like it's going to be Swinson. Comes up track, tags the back left of Kasai. And they're both gone into the outside wall here at Texas. And got to give these IndyCar credits. When they hit something, all sorts of fun stuff pops off. No cheap crashes here, ladies and gentlemen. And both Kasai and Swinson take a tow back to pit road. That's going to be our 6th caution of the night. And let's see who all comes down pit road for this one. Now, Gibson and Leap have yet to come down pit road here tonight. This will be their first stop on lap 50. Now, interesting enough, Fitzsimmons and Ziegler opt to stay out. One driver is going to get the wave around here behind our iRacing safety car. The lap 49 incident. Number responsibility will be with the number 3 machine. Oh no, I misread that, I think. The number 14 machine of Swinson will get the credit for that one. Being served a drive-through penalty if he's able to get back out on track. I think Swinson has put it back in the hauler. Looks like he just pushed up the track. Tagged the inside of Kasai. Finley Fitzsimmons, who'll be starting the top spot, hopping into the spectator area, making a quick comment from inside the car, saying he's hoping for a green flag run here. Averaging a little bit less than 9 laps per caution. I think, though, the top 5 have been relatively very clean, giving a lot of room back and forth. I think as the run progresses, things are going to get better, and we're going to see some long runs come into effect. Now, talking to these drivers before tonight's broadcast, there was rumors of going up to 50 laps on a tank of gas. We've got Chris Cart join us. He's cheering on Kyle Leap's number 20 machine. Kyle was running up front before coming down pit road on lap 50, so keep an eye out. Going to have much fresher tires than a lot of drivers out on track. Fitzsimmons and Ziegler running first and second for this restart. They last came in on lap 18. McAllister and King running third and fourth came in on lap 24. And then Gibson, Leap, and Newton all came in a lap 50 for their last stop. Now we have some of the spectators asking, how come so many drivers are one lap down? Well, we are on our 6th caution, 53 laps in, so a lot of learning pains for some of the drivers coming out with their first race of the season. I think a whole lot of drivers realizing these Indy cars require a whole lot of attention to go blitzing around at 200 miles an hour without causing a spectacular crash or having a spectacular mistake. So I said a couple times early on, I think the longer this race and as well as the season goes on, drivers are going to start putting a little bit more work and a little bit more give and take as they learn how to drive these things. And I expect the racing to clean up as things progress. I've called a whole lot of races here in my time. And I've seen drivers that started off with a rough go really get faster as things go on. Here we go once more. Fitzsimmons and Ziegler starting first and second. These are the two drivers we saw going side by side for 5 to 10 laps at a time. McAllister has worked his way up into third. The fluorescent yellow, number 25. Ooh, that looks like that's, I think that's Bianchi up on the high line, trying to get a lap back in the 51 machine. Side by side with McAllister. These two drivers have raced against each other an absolute ton in Formula 3 machines. Good to see him stepping up to the IndyCar. And Bianchi will at least get his lap back from McAllister. As here's the battle we've been waiting for. Fitzsimmons and Ziegler linked up nose to tail, or should I say wing to gearbox, first and second. And there's not too many ovals on this series. As next week, we head to Long Beach for the Grand Prix of Long Beach. Then we go to Barber Motorsports for the Racing for Children's GP. So I'm very excited to see how this is going to work out. And Ziegler right behind the young British driver of Fitzsimmons. Almost sounded like a little bit of contact there. Not sure if that was the case. These Indy cars don't bode well to bump drafting. I can tell you that much. Fitzsimmons holds on to it, but Ziegler looks up the inside line through 3 and 4. Will Ziegler be able to get clean and clear? Fitzsimmons was able to defend quite heavily early on in the race. Now these two have pulled about a 1.3 second gap over McAllister. And maybe we can actually get some racing going on here. Now just behind these two is Antonio Bianchi, the number 51 machine. He's going to try and unlap himself the hard way. Bianchi on about 12 lap newer tires in the race leaders. Not sure how much he's going to be able to actually use them here, as Ziegler and Fitzsimmons have been very, very fast. Now this is what we were hoping for when the season fired off. You see Fitzsimmons take a look to the inside of Ziegler, had to back out of it slightly. The aero wash so crucial for these drivers. The dirty air, a lot tougher to manage than it is out front. That's why Ziegler's in such a opportune position. It looks like somebody was rolling out of pit road, maybe rolling into pit road. Not quite sure who that was. Trying to get it looks like it's going to be Cameron Bidwell coming down pit road in the 56 machine. And Ziegler doing a great job holding on to it, continuously stretching the gap ever so slightly over the world-famous Australian Gareth McAllister. Right now at Texas, they're hitting speeds of excess of 230 miles an hour. Trap speed for Ziegler last time by was 232. Let's see what it updates to. 223 miles an hour that last time by. Fitzsimmons, 228 miles an hour. Both drivers clicking off 24.8 second lap times. Fitzsimmons looking for any way around he possibly can here, but Ziegler's not going to make it easy. Now, I would love nothing more to maybe see some green flag stops out of these drivers if we can get so lucky. With 7 drivers on the lead lap, it looks like we still have 13 drivers out there pushing hard. 7 have sent it back to the virtual hauler early on. But Ziegler and Fitzsimmons here to put on a show side by side once more. But this time, compared to the early run these two had where they're side by side, it's going to be Ziegler's chance up front, guarding the inside line, trying to force Fitzsimmons around the high line. Fitzsimmons picks up the draft. Not able to do anything with it through 3 and 4. Fitzsimmons with a good run out of 4, but just really nowhere to put it. I think Ziegler's going to guard that inside line over the course of the run if he can. And man, these guys going at it all the while pulling up. A 2-second gap now over McAllister. Antonio Bianchi, the 51. He's third in line here, a lap down. Not quite able to pull up and unlap himself. I'm a bit surprised if Fitzsimmons and Ziegler have had the proverbial elbows out. And to me, it looks like these top 2 drivers have calmed down just a little bit now. I'm also surprised their lap times only about 3/10 off their fastest of the race. Jared Ziegler, your race leader, his fastest lap time was a 24.56. Fitzsimmons, a 24.63. Both drivers running about 24.8 flats their last time by, and it looked like Fitzsimmons may have had a bit of a bobble, dragging the wall coming out of turn 2. Have to be careful. These machines do not bode well at all to any sort of contact. And speaking of contact, look at this 3-car battle. Paul Gibson, Kyle Leap, Norman King. Putting on a show for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Gibson and Leap were both able to get around King, who's on 25-lap older tires. And it looks like they start to spread out again. So we may see a bit of a run here. It'd be fantastic to see if that is going to be the case. And I have no idea what the fuel runs are going to be out of Jared Ziegler and Finley Fitzsimmons. The last time they were down pit road was for lap 18. But an extremely large portion of those laps since then have been under caution. So I would imagine they're clicking on the fuel maps to save as much as they can, as Ziegler has pulled a 9/10 advantage over second place Finley Fitzsimmons. A little bit further back, we have a battle for 8th. Antonio Bianchi defending against Brian Edwards. Both drivers a lap down here. But here comes Edwards taking a peek up the inside line. Not quite able to make it happen as Bianchi guards. Bianchi on 12-lap newer tires than Edwards. Hannon back up front. Fitzsimmons has closed the gap now to about a little over a half second to Ziegler. But how long until these drivers have to come down pit road? They've been out an awfully long time. How much fuel saving were they able to do when the yellow flag has been out a whole lot, over a half dozen times? Coming up on the halfway mark of today's race. I heard somebody careening across. I wonder if that was Edwards, who now dives down pit road in the number 2 machine. And no! What happened here? Fitzsimmons, who's running so strong, has an incident. The caution comes out. And that number 6 machine looking a little bit mangled. I think Fitzsimmons may still have a fast repair in reserve, but let's see what happened here. What happened on the backstretch? Oh, it's the story comes out a little bit earlier. Oh, that was a crash that took 9 years to develop. We're going to watch Fitzsimmons coming out of 1 and 2. Pushes up the track, tries to chase it down. Spins the entire backstretch crashing before drilling the outside wall going into turn 3. And that will bring out the caution. Oh my goodness, as Fitzsimmons almost gets absolutely punted by Gareth McAllister. Let's go on board with McAllister, the young Australian. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. It's about to get good. Oh! What a moment for the Aussie. And that will be our 7th caution of the night. As Ziegler, McAllister, King, Newton, and Fitzsimmons come down pit road. Fitzsimmons didn't have much of a choice on that one. I believe he'll also get the EOL. But a pretty good run from the drivers here. Starting to get a little bit of momentum built up. And we'll try this again. It's going to be Gibson, Leap, Ziegler, McAllister, King, your top 5. Ziegler wisely came in on lap 82, his second pit stop of the night. And the number 6 of Fitzsimmons does get the confirmed EOL for bringing out that caution on lap 81. Just about to the halfway mark of today's main event. Again, thank you everybody tuning in, supporting the league, supporting the broadcast, and most importantly, supporting charity out here tonight. That's what it's here for. Drivers realize, hey, you're here to have fun, race for a good cause. As it looks like Antonio Bianchi will get the wave around in the 51. That's going to make it 8 drivers back on the lead lap. Rid up behind our iRacing safety car, Gibson will be on 32-lap older tires than Ziegler, McAllister, pretty much everybody besides Kyle Leap, number 20 machine. But Leap was very fast early on. As we go green flag racing once more. Let's see what that number 20 machine can do, if he can put some pressure on Gibson. Or Gibson with a clean air may be able to keep things going. As that's not Jared Ziegler, I think that's lap traffic behind. Sitting third in line, Ziegler in the black and red 57 machine. As it looks like Leap starting to close the gap to race leader Gibson, getting it down to about a quarter of a second before they go through 1 and 2, but looks like Gibson really pulls some time coming out of the corners. And now the field stacks up behind your second place driver. Let's see who that is trying to get a lap back here. Ziegler wants to keep charging towards the front. And it looks like Ziegler on a good charge in the 57, using those fresher tires to advantage, tracking down Kyle Leap. Now less than 2/10 separating the battle for second. And we are at the halfway mark of today's main event. So it's all downhill from here, as the kids are saying. As Gibson extends his lead out front, Ziegler tucked in behind Leap. But it looks like it's been a tough task to make any outside moves here. Ziegler's going to try it in the 57, working up alongside that number 20 of Leap. And look at Ziegler trying to motor around the outside. Looks like he's going to do it down the back stretch. Leap tucks in behind the 57. So now Ziegler's going to continue that charge, trying up towards the front, seeing if he can whittle away the gap of Gibson, your race leader. And here we go, the battle for the lead. Gibson out front, and the number 31, Ziegler, the 57, trying to make that high line work once more through 1 and 2. Maybe those new tires really are the ticket here. As yes, Ziegler clicking off laps and gaining positions. He briefly shows as your race leader, but Gibson tries to fire back through 3 and 4. Making Ziegler take the long way around here. Gibson not going to make it easy for Ziegler. Guarding that preferred line, predicting wherever the 57 machine wants to go. He's going to come out of that corner in that exact same spot. Ziegler's going to be patient, not a lot of room for error. Drivers hitting speed still of 220 miles an hour without too much draft support. And fairly soon, they're going to have a little bit of lap traffic trying to get their lap back here. It's still Leap in third, McAllister fourth, Fitzsimmons has worked his way back into fifth after the lap 81 crash. And that's why it's very important these drivers have that one get out of jail free card, the one fast repair. And speaking of problems, Antonio Bianchi, the 51 machine, comes down pit road for a green flag stop. He must have had some sort of issues. We haven't seen anybody else come down. Bianchi in and out in 10 seconds of his stall. A total pit lane time about 37 seconds for these drivers by the time they cross the entry cones to the time they get back out on track. Out of turn 2, passing the exit cone. There's Bianchi coming out of pit road as we speak. And Ziegler has put a 7/10 gap onto Gibson. Looks like that's Brian Edwards, the number 2 machine, getting some laps back here. But it's going to be tough as Jared Ziegler continues to stretch that gap, 1.2 seconds ahead. Going a little bit further back, looks like Kyle Leap now has company from Fitzsimmons, and one of those drivers that was up there battling for the lead early on before it looks like he just got a little bit loose. Now, oh, as I say that, Leap gets bumped into the outside wall by Fitzsimmons, and Leap just comes down across track. Oh, that almost got very, very bad. And let's back that camera angle up and see what happened. I'm almost fairly certain that was Fitzsimmons and Leap involved. Yes, it was. So Fitzsimmons is going to go up the inside line. Trying to see if he pushes wide. Oh, just net code between the two. No contact was actually made. The sim predicted that Fitzsimmons was going to get into it, and poor Leap. What a bad break there. The number 20 machine just gets absolutely punted up the outside wall. Actually, let's watch that one once more. Watch this absolutely terrifying moment. Oh, 3 drivers almost getting collected as Leap makes his way down to pit road. And what just happened here? Jared Ziegler gets hit under caution. Let's watch this one once more. Ziegler starts to check up. Everything looking okay here. Caution lights clearly out all across the track. Waiting to see what happens to Ziegler. He comes up to the pace car. Oh my goodness. Who was that? Was that Edwards? Edwards just absolutely plowed into the race leader. Oh, Jared Ziegler can't catch a break. What just happened? We're going to try and get a report back from race control and see what just happened out there. As it looks like Edwards has put it back in the virtual hauler. That or he was moved to the virtual hauler. I'm not quite sure. And we just see that Edwards has left the track. So I think that could have been malicious. So very disgusting to see in a race that's supposed to be about charity, about raising funds for children in need. And seeing that type of action is absolutely despicable from these drivers, from one driver specifically. In all my years of broadcasting, I've never called a charity race and seen that type of poor behavior before. So well done to race control, ejecting that driver from the event, from the league almost immediately. So the lap 100 incident called, no further action. The number 2 of Edwards getting a black flag 30-second incident for his problem. Problem is a good word to put it. So we get words from race control. Doesn't seem like it was malicious. Looks like the driver just didn't pay attention. A tough one to call here. Poor Jared Ziegler, just an innocent bystander. The race leader gets sent to the shadow realm. So we get more confirmation. Looks like a silly mistake takes out Jared Ziegler. The driver in question has left the league entirely on his own accord, it appears. Pace car is in, and Marshall Newton for the first time going to be getting a lap led here at Texas. Paul Gibson second, Finley Fitzsimmons third, McAllister and King round out the top 5. .74 more laps left to go. As, ooh, this is a recipe for sketchiness. You've got lap drivers getting their lap back or a lap back the old-fashioned way. Gibson, Fitzsimmons, McAllister, and a dicey duel here for second as well as Newton. It's about a 4-car battle for the lead now. And are we going to go 3 wide at Texas? We hint at it. Newton, Fitzsimmons, Gibson, all in the fray. It looks like Ziegler and McAllister right here in the mix as well. This is absolutely dicey, so Newton's going to hold on to the race lead as everybody tries to sort themselves out right behind. As we go on board with Paul Gibson, the number 31 machine, he sits in 4th. Well done to these drivers for getting through that restart nice and clean. That was a blast to watch. And up front, it looks like Fitzsimmons and Newton are going to go side by side. Fitzsimmons trying to snake through in the inside line. Looks like Jared Ziegler trying to follow suit as well in the 57 machine. Newton trying to hold on to second. But I don't think Ziegler can be stopped. He was very fast in the opening run. He's got a fresh car underneath him using that fast repair. And Fitzsimmons going to try and break away here, putting as much distance between between himself and Ziegler. On board with Jared Ziegler, that's lap traffic ahead of him. Now it's Finley Fitzsimmons squarely in the sight of the 57. Paul Gibson trying to close the gap back once more. He knows if Fitzsimmons and Ziegler can break away, it's going to be a tough task to catch up as Ziegler's caught the draft of Fitzsimmons pulling 5th gear through 3 and 4. And Ziegler is here to party and take over that race lead. Fitzsimmons holds on to it. Ziegler right there on the gearbox. Fitzsimmons trying to break the draft, not having any luck. And that's going to give Ziegler the race lead through 3 and 4. So now the running order changes slightly as Ziegler, Fitzsimmons, Gibson, your top 3. Newton, McAllister round out the top 5, but don't count Fitzsimmons out quite yet. He's gotten a taste for the lead, and he wants it back from the 57. All the way down the apron goes Fitzsimmons, trying to find a way around, not having the opportunity present itself. Fitzsimmons has to be careful not to use too much tires, as he had that solo car incident early on in the evening. Let's pan the camera back to Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons trying to stay in the draft of Ziegler, but those big moves trying to get lined up for 3 and 4 may be hurting him more than it's helping. Now they have still pulled about a 6.5 gap over Gibson in 3rd. Gibson has about 7/10 over Newton. Now we're expecting the next fuel window to close around lap 150 for these drivers if we can go green, which has been a big ask so far tonight. And here we go, Ziegler, Fitzsimmons still going at it. These two are not yielding at all. This is the type of racing fans and drivers we're hoping for here under Texas. McAllister comes down pit road for a green flag stop. As Fitzsimmons tries to work the outside line, not having too much luck with it. Ziegler guarding the inside, making the track as small as he possibly can. onboard. Ziegler just clicking off laps, making it look easy. Fitzsimmons hanging right there. It's been anywhere between a tenth to 2/10 between the first and second place driver. Gibson's been slowly catching up in third place, gaining about a tenth per lap on these race leaders. Last time by, Gibson on a 24.82 as your race leaders are doing just about 25-second flat lap times. And these guys are putting on a show, but every time they go too wide, and they've been doing it a whole lot, Gibson just slowly closing the gap in the 31 machine. Now Gibson's pulled about a 1.3 second advantage over Newton, so this is going to be the top three cars at this pace, able to throw elbows. All three of these guys came in a lap 102 together under caution. Ziegler without much of a choice. And look how wide Fitzsimmons is pushing up the track here. Having to dime in the corner just a little bit more. Now I'm surprised these top two drivers aren't maybe working together a little bit more to try and get a bit of a breakaway from Gibson, but maybe knowing they're going to have at least one more scheduled stop, maybe more depending on how the cautions fall. And it looks like they break away just ever so slightly from Gibson's 31 machine. Gibson lagging back about a half second now from Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons still on the gearbox of Ziegler. I mean, less than 0.05 of a second separating the two when they link up wing to gearbox. And yet somehow these two are still finding time to gain over Gibson. On board with Fitzsimmons taking a look to the outside line. But watch this, Ziegler able to gain just about a few hundredths of a second. That's all he needs. Fitzsimmons trying the slingshot move once more. And this party is going to get interrupted with a caution. We're not quite sure where the caution came from. We're going to wait on race control to give an update for that one. Now, I think what this means, if everybody comes down pit road, they in theory should be able to make it till the end or get very, very close. I'm getting the same ping. There we go. Something updates. So it's going to be the number 20 incident with the number 25. Take a look and see what happened there to McAllister, who's showing involved in that one. Oh, there it is. He just finds a leap. Somehow got in the back of McAllister. Not sure if McAllister had a bobble or not, but gets run over a little bit. So it looks like everybody coming down pit road for the most part in lap 128. So it looks like it's going to be about 6 drivers on the lead lap. And it looks like the pace car is going to come in. And we go green flag racing once more with Fitzsimmons out front, Gibson second. Newton will now be third, and keep an eye out, Jared Ziegler is going to be starting 5th. He came in a little bit later. I think Ziegler's going to try and maybe bank on this thing going green, which is a very large ask, but now he's going to have 2 laps more fuel than everybody else. Looks like Gibson and Newton with a little bit of side-by-side action for second. Newton trying the outside line. And this is giving Fitzsimmons the breakaway he was really looking for. So Newton takes her the second place spot, leaving Gibson behind by about 9/10 of a second. Fitzsimmons pulls about a 6/10 gap over Newton. You've also got King and Ziegler rounding out the top 5, but again, keep an eye on that 57 machine, Jared Ziegler, opting to come in on lap 132 laps later than the rest of the field. I think that's going to give him just a little bit more fuel, which could possibly be massive here at the end if we get that green flag run we've all anxiously been waiting for. Oh, what a big moment there. Great save as we go back up front to Marshall Newton, who's in second, 6/10 behind Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons now 3/4 of a second ahead of Gibson. looks like Newton is slowly closing that gap to Fitzsimmons. Now down to about 0.4 of a second to the favor of the young Brit. 6 drivers on the lead lap. We've got about 42 laps left to go here at Texas. And Jared Ziegler clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 24.48 from his 5th position. I think Ziegler's strategy really banks on a long green flag run here. He's been quick over that run, but we know how tough it is to pass. So Ziegler may try and make something happen on fuel mileage if it's at all possible. And here we go, the battle for the lead starting to unfold. Fitzsimmons takes over the race lead, making the long way around Newton. Holds on to the race lead. Newton trying to work the inside line, trying to work every line it looks like. Newton goes high through 3 and 4. Fitzsimmons holding on to. He got a little bit of lap traffic in the fray as well, trying to get some laps back here. Hopefully that will not interfere with the battle for the lead. As, Newton working the inside line. Will he have the drive out of 2? No, Fitzsimmons holds on to it by a little over 1/10 of a second. But Newton trying everything he can here. Side by side for the race lead. Fitzsimmons, Newton clicking off some laps. But Newton finding out just how tough it is to make moves here in Texas. Here's Fitzsimmons just ahead. That's what about 1/10 of a second looks like. And closing fast, coming out of 4. Look at the massive drive from Newton. But Fitzsimmons getting a little bit of lap traffic helping him out with the draft. That could be all the difference he needs as he defends once more through 1 and 2. Now neither of these drivers not holding on to too much fuel savings here. Everybody holding it wide, going as fast as they possibly can. And a pretty healthy stack of drivers. Now we only have 6 drivers on the lead lap, but it looks like about 12 still out there driving, trying to put down some personal best, and it's a long season. As it looks like Fitzsimmons pulls about a 1/8 of a second gap. And now Paul Gibson trying to work his way back up into second. Gibson up the inside line at 31. Looks like he's going to make it nice and easy. And we've got a big caution. It looks like that's Norman. No, it's not Norman King. That's Marshall Newton involved in an incident. A late race caution for the 76 machine. And let's see what happened to Newton, who was running so. It was Pryor coming across the line. Trying to see who that is that gets into Newton here. Let's slow that down. Can't quite see who makes contact. We'll have to wait on race control. Whoever it was, looks like they just kind of came up into Newton. The two cars interlock wheels. And somebody goes off track. I think that was Jared Ziegler doing a little bit of avoidance there. And they just finally get unlocked, and everybody limps it down pit road. An interesting pit stop strategy. Is that Norman King involved in that incident? I think it was. I think that was Norman that... Was it Norman? Yeah, that was Norman King getting into old friend Marshall Newton. Two drivers trying to occupy the same spot, just doesn't work well. So deemed a racing incident for that lap 149 caution. That's going to put us about 29 laps left to go if I'm doing my broadcaster math right. Again, tip of the hat to our race control tonight. Joseph Penn calling the shots, making sure everything's behaving and moving forward with the right type of attitude. I know Joseph has had quite a busy evening. As we get them all gridded back up behind our iRacing safety car, our 10th caution of the evening. And we did get a report, Jared Ziegler in the infield care center. We're going to get Ziegler up here in the booth. Jared, it's James in the broadcast booth. You have a copy?
Yeah, I do.
What a night. What happened there, Jared? We see you in pit road for an extended stay. So what other incident? Was that when you're off-track excursion avoiding that incident in front of you?
Yeah, the 78 hit the wall, or 76 hit the wall, entering one. Stayed out. I mean, looking at, I can't tell what he sees in the car, of course, but looking at the replay, his tires are pointing like at 10 and 2, and he stayed out. Through 3 and 4, lost it, hit Norman, and to avoid those guys, I went through the grass, basically almost spun on entry of 1. Then the car got plowing tight. Then the caution came out, so I lifted, and then it just spun out right onto the caution and right in the inside wall. And my crew decided to boycott fixing it.
They've had enough, understandable. Now, Jared, coming into tonight, are you thinking the general sentiment is maybe the guys weren't ready for a car that was so quickly to get violent on them?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everyone ran. We had about 12,000 laps of practice between everyone yesterday. So I don't know what happened between yesterday and today, but it just sucks. I mean, we drove from the back of the field to the front like 3 different times. I had before that wreck, that restart, I ran into the back of someone. I don't know what happened there. Green flag was out for 3, 4, 5 seconds, and I decided, all right, I'm gonna hit the gas, and just no one in front of me hit the gas. And, killed the handling of the car from there, so I was just trying to manage, but I could have easily still gotten the top 5. I think we have like 3 cars on the lead lap now, so.
Yep, a rough night for everybody, looks like. But hey, we're green flag racing once more, so we gotta let you go. Sorry to see your night end like this. You were very, very fast out there in the 57, and hopefully next week I'll have a little bit better luck for you.
Yep, gives us momentum, so we'll see you guys next week.
Awesome, thank you, sir. That was Jared Ziegler, previous race leader, now sitting in the infield care center with a wadded up race car, done and out for the evening. As he said, 3 drivers on the lead lap is Fitzsimmons, Gibson, and Duggan. Now Fitzsimmons and Gibson only separated by about 3/10 as they head down the back stretch. Duggan lags behind by about 3 seconds from this battle for the lead. I think very shortly you're going to have drivers such as Antonio Bianchi trying to get a lap back. Now, these drivers have had plenty of cautions, plenty of lucky dog opportunities to make that happen for them. Gibson, Fitzsimmons still linked up nose to tail. And we get a report from race control. 1 more caution or a drop in the pace, and this race will end on a time technicality rather than a green flag run. So hopefully that's not the case, and that's going to put a bit of urgency here in the battle between Fitzsimmons and Gibson. Whoever has that track position up front is going to be in a good spot to possibly bring home the win. As it was 180 laps or the 2-hour mark, whatever comes first. And we are 1 hour and 47 minutes into this feature event tonight. And there's still plenty of time for somebody to wad up a perfectly good race car. Now, I think Gibson and Fitzsimmons have already had to use that fast repair tonight. That puts a little bit more reservations in the back of these drivers' minds. Fitzsimmons, Gibson still going at it side by side. But Fitzsimmons is going to guard that inside line. He's got 17 laps left to go to try and hold on to it here. Tyler Duggan, the last driver on the lead lap, still sits squarely in third, 6 seconds back from this battle of the lead. I'm curious to see with 15 laps left to go, is Gibson going to be able to try and make something happen? He's staying less than a tenth back from your race leader, Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons wants nothing more than to bring home a win at the opening night. So many drivers lost to attrition this evening. Gibson lagging back now to a quarter of a second ahead, a little bit of lap traffic as we're on board the 31 machine. "13 laps left to go. 10 minutes left in the session. They should be able to complete it if we can go green out till the end." Got a half second to try and close to Fitzsimmons. Still only 3 drivers on the lead lap as they make their way through 3 and 4. Fitzsimmons ahead. Looks like Gibson's going to have a little bit of help with traffic, working that draft to his advantage. And I think I just heard Gibson lightly tag the wall there, a little bit of arrow push perhaps. Or it may have been the driver right behind him, tough to tell. Just heard it out the right side of my headset. Somebody with a little bit of contact with our good old friend outside wall. I think that may be John Kasai. No, that's further back. Look at this battle going on. John Kasai, Chris Shieldsmith putting on a show for 7th place spot. Kasai's up 8 positions. Shieldsmith is up 6, and somebody just bent it on the inside wall. That's Norman King. And oh no, a late race caution with 9 to go. We may time out here. Let's see what happened to King, the number 28 machine. It looks like he might have caught a little bit of dirty air there and just sent him careening down. What a hard hit at the inside wall. The barriers, we're getting our money's worth out of them here at Texas. Number 28 machine of King will receive the EOL for causing that caution late in the race. We've got about 6.5 minutes left to go. If we can get things quickly going, we can finish this race under green flag conditions, but it's going to be close. If we time out, I think with one more caution, we are pretty much guaranteed to finish at the time limit. Tyler Duggan comes down pit road in the 42 machine. A late race effort here with just over 5 minutes left to go. I think Antonio Bianchi may be able to get on the lead lap in the 51 machine, so it could be a 4-car shootout till the end. They're still showing 3 drivers on the lead lap. Bianchi hasn't got the wave around from what I'm seeing. Fitzsimmons trying to get a little bit of heat in the tires there. 4.5 minutes left to go. This restart's going to be absolutely crucial if that number 6 machine wants to pick up the win here at this season opener, because Gibson behind him wants the spot. And keep an eye on Tyler Duggan, that number 42 machine. He's got 4 fresh tires underneath him. That could be all the difference he needs. He's only going to have a few short laps to make that push. The lap cars with 15 or fewer laps to go. Cars will be moved to the end of the line by their running order with the leaders at the front. So no lucky dogs, no wave arounds here. And looking at my math, we're going to have about 2.5 minutes left to go as Fitzsimmons takes to the restart area. Away they go. Keep an eye out, though, on this 42 machine. I'm expecting to see a big charge here, or at least an attempt at it. But if we have another caution, I think we're going to end this thing under yellow flag conditions. We're 5 laps left to go. It's Fitzsimmons, Gibson, Duggan on the lead lap. All these drivers about 3 tenths between each other. Will we make it to the end under green flag conditions, as here comes Gibson to challenge for the lead. Fitzsimmons, oh no, with a big blink on the inside. What just happened there? Fitzsimmons has some sort of problem. A big blink, smoke erupts from the number 6 machine. Looks like the damage was temporary. Gibson has to back out of it. Gibson trying to close the gap once more. They shaking off Duggan's 42 machine. The new tire's not quite panning out. Fitzsimmons with another big blink. This is going to make things tougher for Gibson. Gibson looks to the outside line as they cross the start-finish line. Fitzsimmons going back low through 1 and 2. Gibson's going to follow suit to try and catch a toe off the number 6 machine. White flags will be out this time by. Fitzsimmons tries to break the draft into 3 and 4. Looks like it's working well for him. White flag comes out this time by. And here we go, the final shootout of the evening. Will Gibson be able to make an effort of it here? Fitzsimmons holding on by 0.05 of a second on the inside line through 3 and 4 for the final time this evening. Gibson looking for an opening. It's a drag race to the finish. Gibson nowhere to go. The checkered comes out. Fitzsimmons brings home the win here at the Racing for Children's IndyCar League. Paul Gibson brings home second, and Tyler Duggan brings home third in the 42 machine. What a long and eventful race that was. As Fitzsimmons doesn't want to go to tech inspection. And decides to park it on the track and then take a tow. Now it's extremely late for Fitzsimmons, so that could be the issue. Oh my, what a night. We're going to try and quickly get these drivers to the podium room. Everybody's got very strict bedtimes here. So it looks like we've got Tyler, we've got Fitzsimmons. So let's get things started off here. Up first, Tyler, the number 42 machine, able to bring it home. A fairly successful night. What a long night. But hey, a third place, not too bad in the season opener.
No, I'm definitely taking that. 100%. After killing the entire field off the start like a dummy, I can't even be mad. I wasn't even going to try to race those two for the win. I mean, I didn't have anything for him, I don't think, but there's no way I was causing any more trouble after what I did on the first lap. I screwed up. I'm not known for doing that, but whenever I do it, unfortunately, it's normally awful.
Well, if you're going to make it interesting, at least you went big. Now, Paul, so what is it? Are the cars just tougher to drive than people expect in the season opener? What made it so tough for everybody out on track, Tyler?
Loose. Loose. I was literally about to spin out from lap 1 to lap 180 every single lap, especially in traffic.
So just the car setup itself, plus with the air, just made it so extremely tough for you guys?
Yeah, for me, I felt better in dirty air. Whenever I got the clean air, it was about to spin out.
Well, hey, a great night all the way around. Able to bring home a hard-fought third in that 42 machine. Tyler, I know it's late. Who do you want to give a quick shout-out to that helps make this evening possible?
All you guys for the broadcast, every single one of the admins. I know it wasn't the best race ever, but next week's going to be good. Just waiting for them road courses. Those are going to be spectacular. Also, Marshall for making me this beautiful car. Yeah. Martial Arts is the best graphic design company on the planet.
Well, awesome. Tyler, well done. Congratulations on third, and hope to have you back up here next week, my friend.
100% we'll be here.
That was Tyler Dugan bringing home the third place spot. Up next, Paul Gibson, the number 31 machine. Paul, you and Finley had some spectacular battles as well as Ziegler when he was up there in the mix. How does it feel bringing home a second in a relatively clean race car after tonight?
Yeah, feels good. I think I may have been the only car in the field that didn't have an incident.
So didn't have to use so you didn't have to use the world famous fast repair?
No, I didn't have to use it. I didn't have a wall contact or car contact or anything with anybody the whole race. I tried to stay careful. And after the race started the way it did, I was like, okay, I'm just going to be really careful and just bring it home. Because typically, I hardly run any oval, so I'm looking forward to getting on the road courses.
Yeah, so that being said, we've got a spattering of ovals in the mix, a whole lot of road courses. Which of the road courses are you most excited about coming into later this season?
Pretty much any of them. I think we got Long Beach next, and I love running there. Really like the street courses too. So yeah, I'd say anything with left and rights, probably I'm going to be really excited about. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Now, Paul, we were watching the instant replay here. At one point, it looked like Fitzsimmons had a big blink and reappeared with about half a car. Did you have to check up a lot during that, or do you think that affected the run?
Oh yeah, it definitely affected it. I mean, I can't say if I would have gotten around him or not, but I mean, I definitely had to check up a bunch and just stay back. I didn't want to be, neck coated into the wall and erase a second place after, being in it for 175 laps. So I was happy to take a second.
Well, Paul, it was a great race watching you guys duke it out. A lot of fun. Whenever you guys were all wheel to wheel, some great racing amongst the top 5. And who do you want to give a quick shout out to that helped make tonight possible with a very well-earned second place?
Yeah, it's a big shout out to the PG-13 racing team. We put together a team a couple of years ago when COVID started, and we're all a bunch of buddies from at work or family, or most of us knew each other from racing RC cars back in the day. So yeah, we showed up here and had a great time.
Awesome, Paul. Congratulations, and hope to have you back up here next week, my friend.
Sure, thank you.
That was Paul Gibson bringing home the second place. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Finley Fitzsimmons, his second ever, I believe, broadcasted league win. Welcome to the top spot, my friend. That was a long night, especially for somebody in your time zone.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's currently 22-4 on a Wednesday morning. And, if it wasn't a Wednesday morning, I definitely would be popping a celebrity cider. But, got to keep it haram.
Well, hey, great win out there. Fitzsimmons, I mean, every time you, Gibson, we had Ziegler up there in the mix, Marshall Newton. I mean, pretty much anybody inside the top 5, you guys were doing a great show. But one thing we keep hearing from everybody tonight was how tough the car was to hold on to throughout the run. And I know you had that big incident by yourself. What happened there early on tonight that had you using your fast repair?
Well, yeah, I mean, out of 2, I'm pretty sure it was. I just got loose. I thought I caught it, got loose again, and it was just like over and over again getting loose and saving it. But then I got up into the wall. Luckily, though, I managed to stay on the lead lap, and I had that fast repair. But then it was just before, I think, the halfway point of the race. So, yeah, it definitely shows how careful I had to be with the car, because obviously, I haven't got a fast repair. I need to make sure I bring it home in one piece. But, yeah, we did bring it home in one piece and got the best possible result I could have thought of, really.
Yeah, big win, showing up relatively cold and taking the top spot. Now, were you thinking Gibson was going to be able to make a drive there towards the end, or were you trying to pick your lines carefully to make it a little bit tougher for that 31 to come around you?
Oh, yeah, 100%. When you hold that inside line, it's very, very difficult to make the move. I was thinking coming out of 2 that he might have the run coming out of 4, but luckily he to really get the run down the backstretch, you've got to be in the draft and then break out at the last point. But he just stayed right on my my right rear tyre, so he didn't quite get the run out of 4. But it was definitely a thing that was going through my head.
Go ahead, my friend. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Go on.
I say, well, Finley, it was a great race all the way around, bringing home a relatively clean race car at the end of this. Up 2 spots from where you started, a massive win, starting the point season off strong. So looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. We know you're fairly quick on ovals, as we just seen, and got a lot of road course action. So I'm excited. I know the fans are at home as well. And Finley, you got the privilege, the pleasure, my friend, the final send-offs of the night. Who you want to give a shout to that helped to make this win possible?
Friends, family, Mustard Seed Racing as well. A good win for them, getting some good points on the board. Obviously Team Goon Squad as well for putting on a great broadcast. And yeah, I suppose to all the viewers out there as well watching, it's been a good one.
Awesome. A lot of fun having you up here. A lot of fun calling the action. Finley, great job, and hope to have you back up here next week, my friend.
You too, James.
And that's going to be Finley Fitzsimmons bringing home the top spot. Paul Gibson finishing second, and Tyler Duggan finishing third. What a great race once we got some of the action out of the way. And anybody inside that top 5, I think, is going to be somebody to keep an eye on for the rest of the season. As always, on behalf of the Racing for Children's IndyCar League, as well as the full website, MSRIndyCarSeries.net, my name is James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.